Have you ever actually stopped, maybe late at night when you're just taking the bins out, looked at your property, and wondered, what is an opportunistic burglar's absolute best friend?
It's such a good question. Most people immediately guess, an unlocked door, maybe an open window, but the answer is actually way simpler. It's darkness and cover. If you're providing those two things, you are inadvertently making your home a massively attractive target. So today, in this explainer, we're drawing directly on insights from the local experts at MS Electrical Solutions to figure out exactly how to change that.
Illuminating the modern home, security and lifestyle lighting explained. Section 1. The psychology of security, removing the cover of darkness.
Okay, so starting right off with the security side of things, I think a lot of homeowners genuinely wonder about this. Does installing bright lights actually deter crime? Or, are you just giving a burglar better visibility to see exactly what they're doing?
Right. Yeah, that is a super common misconception. But the truth is, security lighting is consistently rated as one of the most effective physical deterrents you can have. Criminals overwhelmingly prefer the dark. They absolutely rely on your neighbors not being able to spot them. So security lighting isn't just about making things visible for you, the homeowner. It's quite literally a psychological weapon. You are actively stripping away a criminal's two greatest assets, which are darkness and cover. If an opportunist suddenly finds themselves flooded in bright, unforgiving light, they are almost certainly going to panic and move straight on to an easier, darker target.
Section 2. High-risk property zones. Where are you most vulnerable?
Okay, that makes total sense on a psychological level. But where on a typical property are we actually the most at risk? Because I'm guessing a well-lit front door facing the street isn't the main problem here.
Spot on. The front door is usually highly visible to the street anyway. The crucial step is identifying the true high-risk zones. On the vast majority of domestic properties, your four main culprits are rear gardens, side gates, driveways, and outbuildings. These specific zones are incredibly vulnerable, precisely because they're typically completely unlit and entirely out of sight from the main road or anyone walking by.
Let's ground this in some real UK context, using the insights from our source. Take a place like Horley in Surrey, for example. The local housing stock there features a huge mix of detached and semi-detached homes. But more importantly, many of these classic UK properties have rear access lanes and detached garages.
Oh, absolutely. I know exactly the kind of setup you mean. Those rear lanes are practically invisible from the main road. If a burglar gets back there, they basically have all the time in the world to poke around.
Exactly. When you have a dark rear access lane leading directly to an unlit outbuilding, that theoretical high-risk zone we just talked about becomes a very stark local reality. Section 3. PIR versus dusk-to-dawn. Choosing the right tech.
Right, so let's say I do have one of those dark rear access lanes or maybe a really deeply shadowed driveway. What's the actual hardware we need to protect these zones? Well, it really comes down to a tactical choice between two main options. On one side, we have PIR motion sensors. These provide a real jarring shock value. You get this sudden, blinding activation of a floodlight that completely startles the intruder and immediately tells them, hey, you've been detected. Although, we all know the slight downside is the occasional neighborhood cat triggering it at 2 in the morning. Oh, for sure. My cat sets ours off literally all the time. Exactly. But then, on the other hand, you have dusk-to-dawn units. Now, these offer a constant, reassuring presence of low-level illumination throughout the entire night. They don't startle anyone, but they completely remove that initial cover of darkness before an intruder even steps foot on the property. Both are highly effective deterrents. They just play on slightly different psychology.
Section 4. Beyond security. Lifestyle lighting and extending your space.
Well, that covers the perimeter pretty thoroughly, but let's shift gears away from crime and security for a second. Once the home is locked down and secure, how can lighting actually be used as a lifestyle upgrade, to extend your living space?
This is where things get really fun. Good garden lighting does two massive jobs all at once. First off, it highlights the features that are actually worth showing off. We're talking a beautiful mature tree, a water feature, maybe a recently landscaped border. But secondly, it extends how usable your space is. We have incredibly long, dark winter evenings here in the UK. Well-planned lighting makes your pathways, your decking, and your seating areas safe and incredibly welcoming all year round.
I absolutely love that idea. Just looking out the back window in December and actually seeing a beautifully lit garden instead of just a depressing black void makes those early sunsets so much more bearable.
But I assume we're not just sticking a massive blinding security floodlight right over the dining table, right? Oh, definitely not. That would completely ruin the vibe. You need a really clever mix of specific aesthetic fittings. It shouldn't just be a one-size-fits-all setup. So for decking, you generally want low glare or recessed fittings built right into the structure, just to guide your feet. For a driveway, you're looking at bollards or ground-level units that mark the route clearly without dazzling you while you're trying to park the car. And for the patio, you want a brilliant mix of ambient and task lighting. It really just depends on whether you're relaxing with a book or hosting a massive dinner party.
It sounds amazing, but practically speaking, installing all of this seems like a bit of a nightmare. Honestly, couldn't I just run some heavy-duty extension leads out the back window and call it a day? Absolutely not. I have to be extremely stern about this one. Outdoor circuits have entirely different, very strict requirements compared to your indoor wiring. British rain, heavy frost, even local wildlife will absolutely destroy indoor wiring in a matter of days. If you get the weatherproofing or the circuit protection wrong, the absolute best-case scenario is constant nuisance tripping that drives you completely mad. The worst-case scenario is a genuine, severe electrical safety risk to you and your family.
Section 5. Smart controls and outbuildings, the modern connected garden.
Okay, point completely taken on the safety front. So if we are doing this professionally and doing it right, how do we modernize the setup? I'm thinking specifically about smart tech here. The tech available right now is brilliant, and the convenience factor is just off the charts. All of this modern LED security and lifestyle lighting we've talked about, it can all be completely smart controlled. You don't have to fiddle with those annoying manual timer dials in the garage anymore. You can manage everything seamlessly through a dedicated smartphone app. Or even better, link it directly to your Amazon Alexa or Google Home. You can literally just ask your house to light up the patio without ever getting off the sofa.
And regarding that garden office, which is a hugely popular upgrade right now, the exact same strict safety rules apply to outbuildings and summer houses. If you need power and data out there, it has to be handled safely and wired to current UK regulations. Again, absolutely no extension lead workarounds.
I totally agree. Plus, if you're relying on a garden office for actual work-from-home days, you really can't afford the main power to trip right in the middle of a crucial Zoom call just because it started raining outside.
Exactly. A professional installation ensures you have safe, reliable power for your computer monitors, your heating, and your lighting, completely separate from the main house's vulnerabilities.
Section 6. Your local installation experts.
So the big takeaway across all of this is pretty clear. Do not do this yourself. But for homeowners in the Surrey and West Sussex area, who can they actually trust to design and install these lifestyle upgrades and security deterrents properly? Well, this brings us right back to the source of all the insights we've been covering today in this explainer, MS Electrical Solutions. They are the trusted, NAPIT-accredited local experts for this exact kind of bespoke work. They design and install properly weatherproofed, energy-efficient lighting covering key areas like Horley, Crawley, Reigate, Redhill, and the surrounding Surrey and Sussex regions. They handle absolutely everything, from swapping out a faulty floodlight to full, robust power and data installations for a luxury garden office.
As we wrap up this explainer, we want to leave you with a thought to chew on when you look out your back window tonight. Consider the dark corners, the side gates, and the driveway. Ask yourself, is your rear garden an invitation or a deterrent?